Well, we have no idea how Manchester United will approach the game. It's a Premier League game at Old Trafford. It's always complicated there. The players have responded really well again this week, trained really well. Had a good session today, so we're looking forward to the game.
Yeah, we are trying to do our best, but I agree we can do better. Again, I don't have nothing to say about the criticism because we deserve it.
Hello everybody. Next we schlep up the M1 and the M6, joining the home fans in convoy to Salford, where we'll be hosted by Manchester United. Kick-off on Sunday is at 2 p.m, and it's another one of those matches without official live coverage on the box in the UK. There doesn't appear to be any engineering work of any note on the trains, so it'll just be the usual signal failures, microbes on the line, and the wrong kind of air to cope with. So Man United then. It says much about how far they've fallen in recent years that nobody can be bothered to laugh at them anymore. Man United in the bottom half, yeah, whatever. Vaguely amusing, I suppose, but anything more would be tantamount to giving them some form of special status, which they clearly haven't got. Their season in the league has been as mediocre as it gets. When you look at their squad, it's little wonder why. I'm not sure why anyone with a squad so poor that their most effective player of late appears to have been Harry Scourge of San Marino Maguire would be surprised at their position, but such is the sense of entitlement amongst their support. That's exactly where they are at the moment. Since the turn of the year, they've won on 4 occasions, and 3 of those wins came against the 3 relegated sides. The one exception to this was the win over Fulham on the 26th of January. Since then, the results have gone lost, drawn 1, Ipswich, drawn 1, Leicester, lost, drawn, lost, drawn, lost. Their most recent outing, a 4-3 defeat away at Brentford, sounds close, but their goals largely came too late to have anything other than cosmetic effect. Given the overall lousiness of the season, you might have expected some form of movement in the winter window. And indeed, Daisy tells me they brought in 2 players. However, on closer examination, neither appeared to be candidates for the inspired signing file, a function possibly of the cost-cutting regime headed up by Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who seems to be on a mission to remove from the payroll anyone working above the national minimum wage that isn't a player. The first arrival was teenage central defender Aidan Heaven, which sounds like some form of porn star name, whatever that is. The England under-21 international arrived on a compensation package worth about £1.5 million, having made just the 1 League Cup appearance for Arsenal. He managed a couple of appearances for the Salford mob before picking up an ankle injury that will keep him out for another few weeks, which means that surname is looking increasingly ironic, isn't it? The other arrival was Danish full or wingback Patrick Dorgu, who arrived from Italian outfit Lecce for a reported £30 million. The Copenhagen-born left-sided player worked his way through a number of teams in his native country, whose names are infinitely more difficult to spell, before ending up at the more keyboard-friendly Lecce, for whom he scored 5 times in 59 league appearances. He does like making dramatic starts. He scored with his first touch when coming on as an 81st minute substitute to make his debut for the Danish national side. Somewhat less inspiringly, he managed a straight red on his debut for the Salford mob against Ipswich, and it was a horrendous tackle fully deserving of the 3-match ban he got. On the injury front, apart from Heaven, they'll be missing Xerxes, Dalit, Collier, Martinez and Dallo. In the case of Xerxes and Martinez, the injuries are season-ending. Yeah, enough of them. Let's move on, shall we, to the wild and wacky world of association football. And I really wasn't going to take the mickey out of Arsenal this time out. No, really, I wasn't. I was going to save all the "what's that deck, still no trophies since your last game for West Ham" gags. However, sometimes a manager comes out with something so daft it would be a crime not to comment. Having been handed their backsides in a sling by Paris Saint-Germain, who waltzed their way through to the so-called Champions League final, Arteta announced to the world that there was no better team than Arsenal in the competition. Having digested that statement, I did some research and discovered that other competitions containing no better teams than Arsenal include the Premier League, FA Cup and League Cup. competitions that they were also the best in this time last year. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is taking a close look at Arteta's rhetoric with a view to either A, taking lessons, or B, suing for copyright at such blatant use of his patented say whatever you want loudly enough and it becomes true technique. Let's move on to us, shall we? And, well, that was a bit of a yawn fest, was it not? There we were, playing a team incapable of working out a chance of their own, so we gave them a goal. Kilman going all Mavropanosy on us at the wrong time. I'm all for charity, but there are limits. Thankfully, Bowen was on hand to restore parity. We were a bit unlucky with the Ward-Prowse free kicks that might have given us all 3 points, but the presence of Michael Oliver, of course, will always make a bad game even worse. Every time the game looked as if it might start to develop, he would fall for the most obvious of dives from the visitors, presumably in an effort to give himself something interesting to do. Oliver is also a past master at the variable application of the laws of the game. Quite happily gave free kicks for handball outside the penalty area, but as soon as an identical offence took place within the 18-yard box, all was forgotten. All in all, the game had all the hallmarks of a match that was an inconvenience to players, supporters and officials. Then there was Paquetá, whose distraught reaction to yet another Oliver foul-up was concerning in the extreme. All sorts of rumours are abounding as to when a verdict on his case is due and what that verdict might be. Now, whatever the rights and wrongs of the case itself, and I'm making no comment here, it would appear that the whole thing is having a rather adverse effect on the player's mental health. A speedy conclusion to the whole affair needs to happen for the sanity of all involved. On the injury front, we have Antonio and Somerville out as usual. There is a doubt over Alvarez, whose lower back injury kept him out of contention last week. The last comment was that Mr. Potter was, quote, hopeful, unquote, that Alvarez would be available for this Sunday. So to the prediction. Well, they will of course be smiling at having qualified for the Thursday night league final, living proof of a new format that makes it almost impossible to get knocked out. They'll be even happier that they don't have to face Bodo Glimt. However, their league form has been poor and the sojourns in Europe have only served to paper over the cracks of their mediocrity. I mean, I know we've not had much to cheer about, but I think we do have the beating of them, if we can be bothered to turn up. With that in mind, the £2.50 that I was going to chip in towards the self-publication costs of Arteta's new book, Why Arsenal Are 100% the Best Team at Everything, They Really Are, Honest, will instead be wagered on a rare win to us. Let's make it 2-1 to us, shall we, Mr. Winston? Enjoy the game.